Okay, so I'm recording it now. You can hear me as well, everyone. It's loud and clear. Yeah. You can see the screen as well. Can you see my screen? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So today we're going to be talking about the update for Neo, which has been added to the FVG table. As you can see, it's this indicator here. It's an update, so it's added to the indicator here. Boom. So you can actually see it shows you here. You can switch it on and off as well if you want to by clicking this button. So it just takes a bit of time to load because there's a lot of data in it, but you can switch it on and off. You can also change the time frames on the indicator to use it to the best of your ability if you want to, completely up to you. I prefer to use it on the time frames that are set as default, which is the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and the 4-hour chart. So the whole point of that, the whole point of this indicator is basically it shows you when the market is creating highs and lows. And just because it's hard to differentiate all the difference between lower highs, higher lows, and all this type of stuff, the highest time frame you use, which will be this first one here, row number one, will always say lower low or higher high, meaning that the highest time frame you're looking at, obviously, if it's so it doesn't matter if your highest time frame is a 1-hour chart, let's just say now, yeah, on here it will say lower low or higher high, and the reason for that, like I've explained before, is because think of it as, okay, this is the highest point or the lowest point of what price is actually created. And again, I'm going to go through this as the zoom goes on, okay? And think of if all these other time frames start to come together, so they start to create lower highs or higher lows, if you're in a buy or sell trend, it's going to give you an indication that from your highest time frame you're looking at, which will be in here, my one is the monthly, yeah, you're starting to see the market form structure to show you that, hey, this new trend is holding, and it should give you an opportunity of a trading setup. So again, mine and default on this indicator is from monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour, but you can change this to whatever time frames you want. And like I said, the highest one that you have in row number one will always say lower low or higher high, but all of the other time frames here will now say lower high or higher low. So again, if you was expecting this to be all green now, and let's just say this was the 1-hour time frame, you'd be able to see that the 1-hour time frame has created its lowest point. And then obviously, if you're going to be looking for a re-entry in a trade, you're going to really, in theory, you're going to be looking for a higher low to form on the next time frame, and then so on from there. Again, I'm going to be explaining this more. I'm just trying to give you like a quick roundup so you can understand the small basics of what I'm talking about here. Yeah. And I just wanted to make that clear for anyone that uses the indicator, because I know they're going to say, why does this say lower low? And why doesn't this say lower low? That is why I've just explained it there. It's because, again, it's hard to code it also. You can see the individual higher lows and etc. But in theory, it's the same thing if you've got a highest time frame you look at for structure, and then the lower time frames below that. Obviously, if structure is following, it will always either be a lower high for a re-entry or a higher low. It's just that simple. Okay. So now let's go into the understanding of this so people can get this better. I think where people confuse themselves or they just don't understand structure is they've got to understand the market moves from, again, creating higher highs and lower lows. And to help people out with this understanding, it's like it's best for you to look at the highest time frame that you prefer. Again, mine being the monthly, and you can follow a trend. So let's pay attention to this now. If I'm using the monthly time frame, and let's just say the monthly time frame has now created, so this is the monthly time frame first. It has now created, let's do it from here, a higher high, yeah? Boom. It's locked in a higher high. Let's put it here so we can now, I'll put it like this, boom. This is good. So this is the monthly time frame right now, okay? And the monthly time frame has just created its higher high, whether it was here or here, it doesn't matter. Just follow me here, people, yeah? It's created its higher high. That's great. Now, that is showing me that, hey, a new reversal could have happened in the market and a new trend could be forming, okay? Now, what you have to understand is once you can get the best entries, let's just call them that, not perfect, because nothing can be perfect, because news can always take you out of having perfect entries, regardless of what you have or what tools you have, it can happen, yeah? Now, for me to see that this new trend on the monthly time frame is following through for continuations of sells, okay? The next thing I'm going to look at, you probably heard the microwave being there. The next thing I'm going to look at right now is, okay, I want to catch an entry in this new monthly sell trend. How do I do that? What will be great for me is to see if the weekly time frame has created a lower high. So obviously, I'm expecting the weekly time frame to pull back and then right here create a lower high to go lower. Do you understand? So this is what's going to happen. This is market structure. So remember, this is the monthly time frame up to here. Okay. This is the weekly time frame creating a lower high. Okay. And now what happens is the daily time frame will also do what? Pull back and create another lower high and go lower. And then what can we also see here? The 4 hour time frame can do what? Pull back again and create another lower high. Now, I know the question people are going to ask is, oh, but where would I enter the trade? And well, I get the idea of it, but where would I enter the trade? That is what everybody always loves to know. Okay. And how we're going to break this down is very, very simple. So you've got your monthly higher high that's been made here with this sell. Then it pulls back and creates a weekly lower high and goes down here. Then it comes back up and can create a daily lower high right here, which we can see with the sell. And then there's a 4 hour one. I just want everyone to pay attention to what I've just said there. And does that make sense to people so far? The trend of how and what you can see happening here. Does that make sense to everyone? I just have that. So that makes sense to everybody here so far that's in this Zoom call. Obviously, if you watch this Zoom call back and it doesn't make sense to you, the only thing I can do is over time, we will have more Zoom calls, of course. And we're also going to be having obviously clear examples in the VIP chat, as I always do. I could spend 5 hours, well, not five, but maybe like 2 or 3 hours breaking down examples and stuff in the VIP chat, showing you trades that happened this week. And of course, obviously, either the trades we take in the signals, which when you're in the VIP group, or if you want to, you can just book one-on-one sessions with me, people, and it just cuts all your time down. You can actually do that. That's not an issue. You just speak to me about that. So yeah, it's that. This is how you're seeing a trend from the highest time frame moving down to the lower time frames. Literally, this is what you're seeing, people. No, even if you do the same thing from a 1 hour chart to a 30-minute chart to a 15-minute chart to maybe a 5 minute entry, it's the same difference. Obviously, if you're using the monthly time frame, this could be like a 500 pip move all the way down here. If you're using the 1 hour time frame, the 30-minute and the 15-minute and the 5 minute in these down here, this might literally only be a 30, 40, 50 pip move, this whole thing here. Do you see? It's no different. This is why they say the market is fractal. It's no different. It's the same thing regardless of the time frames. The only thing that is better for you is if you use the higher time frames, there's a higher chance because there's more money shifted in this whole sell that you're seeing here. There's a higher probability that the trade can win. Whereas if you use the lower time frames, these trades can lose, but therefore you can still win over time. So you might lose 5 trades, but then win the other 5 trades if you took 10 trades, if you're on a lower time frame. But remember, this move, if you're winning 5 trades and every single time you're catching free RR, which is free risk to reward, you're still going to be profitable, even though you lost 5 of these setups. That is what a lot of people can't comprehend sometimes. It's very easy to say it, but when you're actually losing, it's very annoying. And I understand. But you have to let the maths play out. So that's the only difference. If you're using a higher time frame, there'll be a less amount of trades that appear, like these setups, cool. But then the probability can be higher because there's obviously bigger institutions are using the higher time frames to trade. So therefore, there's a higher probability in order for you to catch a setup if you see it. Doesn't mean you can't make money on the lower time frame. Not discrediting that. But I'm just saying that probability of you winning a trade is obviously higher because you can see the bigger money being shifted. Does that make sense, what I just said to everyone? Does that make sense, please? You can put a Y in the chat. It's that simple. You can just put a Y in the chat or an N in the chat. If you don't know, you can say no. You can put N in the chat. You can put a Y in the chat. Okay. All right. So let's move forward from that. Yeah. So this is what you see happening. And it's the same as that thing. If you look at this market um, in reverse, it's the same thing. This would just be the lower low. This would be the higher low on the weekly chart. So this is the monthly lower low that formed here with this buy. This is the weekly higher low that formed here. This is the daily higher low that formed here. And here's the 4-hour higher low, let's just say, that formed here. It's the same difference, whether it's a buy or sell. Obviously, it would just change from lower low to higher low. From lower low to higher high. And then the rest of them will obviously say lower high, lower high, lower high, or higher low, higher low, higher low. Okay. So I think this is the main thing you've got to understand what I've just explained in the last about 15 minutes. This is what the market does. It moves through the time frames. And if you go back to my older videos where I was showing you the 4 time frame splits, this is literally what it was just doing. The only difference is we were just using 4 time frames. So we had 4 screens here to see it. But now what I've done for you is now you can see this in one go. The only thing with it is that obviously it's still a bit tricky to understand when time frames are closing candles. So I always suggest and tell people to use this indicator on the 4-hour time frame. Use it on the 4-hour time frame because that's the last time frame on the box here. So anyone that's your last time frame when it loads up, yeah, it's better for you. And obviously you can always still see when there's one bar here, one bar here, and one bar here. Now, let me explain the bars on this indicator. Of course, whatever time frame you're using, it's going to read each bar that forms after that. So even if this monthly goes one, let's say it says 1 bar now, yeah? This monthly might end up saying 50 bars at one point if you're on the 4-hour time frame. And the reason for that is because obviously since the monthly candle opened with a lower low, there has been 54-hour candles that have formed after. Do you understand? And it's the same thing for the weekly. It might say 10 weekly bars, let's just say now. I'm just throwing out numbers there, hypothetically, yeah? Again, there was 10, pardon me, 4-hour candles that had formed since the weekly candle had created its lower high. Do you understand? This is why it's like that. Then obviously, if you was to change it to the daily time frame, this will change a little bit again because you're using daily candles. So there might only be 3 daily candles on this time frame. If you look at the same exact table, there was only 3 candles that formed since the monthly candle formed its lower low. Do you understand? So whatever time frame you use, the bars will change. Let's go to the 1-minute time frame and you'll see it'll be different on here now when it loads up. Wait a second. So, okay, on the 1-minute time frame, it hasn't changed yet. But you can see if you was to go to a different pair, you would see what I'm saying. Let's just try and go to a different pair quickly and see if we see like a crazy number on it. Let's just see for a second. Just give it a second to load. It's a lot of data that this indicator is running. Give it a second to load. Still loading here. You can see boom, boom, boom. See if we can get it. Boom. Obviously, because it's the 1-minute chart, that's why it's even taking longer. All right, let's go to the 5-minute chart and see what happens. See if it loads quicker. You just have to give it a second. This is one thing with the coding as well, that there's only so much you can do to one indicator because if you try and add more and more, it literally tells you, the code tells you, hey, this is too much processing power. For trading view, you have to be good. You have to slow down. Like, slow down, bro. All right, cool. So we're gonna go back to the 4-hour anyway, because we don't have time in the Zoom. It can literally just be the chart at the moment. It's nothing big. Trust me, it will load as you've seen. It's obviously loaded before. Yeah, and sometimes you can just switch it off and switch it on. It will go like that. It will come back, and you can just do things like that. Yeah. Okay. But do you get my overall point of what I was saying to you? Basically, what I was saying is that boom. When you're on a different time frame, obviously you can see this one loaded this time, the bottom one, but the top one is just for some strange reason on trading view, just taking time to load. So if I just put this one here, yeah, you can see now it loaded. Well, yeah, did it? Yeah, now it loaded. Anyway, cool. So yeah, my overall point is that it will change the number of bars. So you can see here the daily bar, it says 7 bars. Yeah, that doesn't mean it appeared 7 days ago if you're on a 4-hour chart. It means it appeared 7 4-hour candles ago. Do you get my point when I say that, people? Yeah? Let me know if you understand that. Whatever time frame you're looking at, that's how the bars will represent here. Yeah? So put a Y in the chat if you understand that. I'm trying to cover all the grounds of what people might ask about this and that. Yeah. No, so that's not what it means. That's why I'm trying to cover everything because obviously I'm trying to do it in the VIP chat, but sometimes obviously it is easier to just make a video, as you obviously know. Yeah. Cool. So with that being out of the way, I've explained what this is doing. I've explained literally in a diagram before what it's doing, and I've also explained what the bars mean. That's literally what these two are doing. Or sorry, well, that's what this table is doing. There isn't mad confusion about it, and you don't need to be confused. Now, again, you know me. I'm not saying you can't trade this alone. You literally can, but I'm not going to trade it alone and have a strategy trading it alone if this makes sense, listen to me now, listen to me here, yeah? If I haven't data tested it first. So why am I going to do that to myself? No, we've already got a solid strategy that's working and it's shown us results. Because again, people wouldn't have been able to make money. I wouldn't have been able to grow my accounts back from their loss, even though I took a loss in my last trade, which I'm very transparent about. But again, this table showed me that I shouldn't have entered that last trade I took the loss on. If I paid attention to this table more and actually just used it instead of being like, well, I think I could do better than the table at this moment, I wouldn't have lost my last trade. If I actually just paid attention to the table, which was a GU sell, I made money off the first time it appeared. Okay, so we're still using this table with the strategy at hand. And the strategy at hand is this right now, okay? Boom. So we use our strategy with the 4 hour and the daily time frame. Yeah. So boom. You can even see here, which is funny. I've tried to get this table down here into this table up here. You can see I've tried to do that. So just give me 1 second anyway, people. Give me 1 second, literally. Boom, boom, boom. Just give me 1 second, literally. I'll be right with you. All right, I'm going to share the screen again. Where did it disappear to? Okay, share screen. Here we go. Boom. Okay, yeah. So now you can see it. So remember, we always still use the strategy based on how we've always used it, which is we wait for our daily breakouts. We use the 4 hour and the daily time frame. This is what we do. So we're waiting for a breakout trade and to catch an entry from that breakout trade. A clear example of this is this now. If we go to GBP CAD, this was the only trade I believe that appeared last week, but I never took it for the reason I'm going to explain. And you can see GBP CAD is actually still holding its buy right now, which the table was actually more towards that. So you can see here on this one, it says that 16 bars ago, the monthly lower low was formed. That was 16 days ago. Do you understand? Because we're on the daily time frame, it formed. Okay. So now we're just waiting for this one to load up here. Well, we're literally just waiting for this to happen right now. Okay. So yeah, sorry, just waiting for this 4 hour one as well. But what we did, I can actually do this at the moment, which will help in it. So we do this right now. We just wait patiently, and we're waiting for the market to break through this place here. We're waiting for it to break through this moving average, and it's going to tell us that it's done this move on the table once we've done it. So boom, boom, boom. Once the table obviously loads, just have to bear with me, people. It could also be my internet connection. I'm quite far away from my Wi-Fi router, so I'm just waiting for that. Boom, boom, boom. So when this daily candle closed, let's change this. Also, you can change the interval on your replay mode to a lesser hour or whatever it might be here, because now when you do this, it's better for you because now you can see when things pop up on the dashboard better. So now when the daily candle closes, you'll see, boom. There you go, boom. So GBP CAD is in the next one that should appear here. This one should be on. There it is on. No, give it a second. Once this one here obviously gets to, once it appears, we're just waiting for that to appear, the second one, eventually. Okay, I'm on, people. So like I said, it could be because of my internet connection right now, why it's running a bit slow. So you just have to be patient, please. Literally. No. There we go. Boom. So GBP CAD here, you can see already, this is how easy it is to use Neo. There's no mad confusion with this, yeah? Already to use Neo, all you have to do is just wait every single day with the strategy that I teach you for a breakout to occur. And the breakout literally happens in the table. You can see it here. So now when two columns are showing bullish or bearish colors, that's telling you that there's a day trading setup that can actually happen. We can see here that this one, GBP CAD, when it broke through this moving average, boom, we've got our breakout that's happened here. So price can buy. Now, we want to be looking for a 4-hour re-entry for this buy trade to occur so we can, follow this trade through, obviously. But my main concern here at this point was that if we go to a, 4-hour chart, okay, let's see if this one has, hold on, I'm going to keep changing it. Give me a second, people. Boom, boom, boom. When we're on the 4-hour time frame, yeah, we can literally see here that price action. I believe this should be the right one as well. Let me just double check so I'm not telling you the wrong information. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, price action has come down. Okay, yeah, it's pretty much showing you Monday. Monday's there, yeah, boom. Cool. And Tuesday, yeah. So right here on the 4-hour time frame for GBP CAD, we're going to be waiting for price action to create a higher low, yeah, which is basically going to give us a W1, a low, or a W2 entry from an FBG rejection to get our buy trade. This is what we're literally doing. We're just waiting for price to go back to the buy trade, and the W1, the low, or the W2 is going to also show us a higher low has been formed. That is how we trade it normally. But what's better for us this time now around, we can clearly see if we look at, so let's go to this one, the 4-hour chart, that, hey, we are in a monthly buy. So that's a good sign for this buy. It's a good sign. It's already telling you, Neo's already telling you the monthly chart is bullish. You don't have to go and check it. It's telling you it's bullish. Yeah. You can see that you can see right here, yeah, that the weekly chart right now, okay, is going into a weekly sell. So that's not a great sign for us because the weekly is actually in a sell pullback. Do you understand? It's in a sell pullback. And this is how we was able to trade it the prior week because the weekly chart was in a sell pullback. We traded that sell pullback and actually made money off of it based on this indicator because I showed everyone in the group before I gave the signal. Now, when we head over to the daily chart, we can see, hey, the daily chart is in our favor. That's great. But now we want to wait for the 4-hour chart to also go into our favor as well. So let's just see this quickly. Let's just switch on this, the M&W indicator as well, so we can see our FVGs. Yeah. And where's the last 4-hour FVG, bullish FVG retest? I'm trying to see why my colors are the wrong way around. So, oh, no wonder. I was thinking something's going on here. My chart's inverted. I was thinking why this one looks so funny. Sorry, people. That's cool. I was thinking why the chart looked like that. So this is why we can see the buy. Remember, I inverted the chart before. My bad, people. But that doesn't matter because we're still here. We're still good. Yeah? Okay. So, boom. What would we be waiting for? We're waiting for price action to pull back into, yeah. Let's just get here. Sorry. We're waiting for price action on the 4-hour to pull back into this FVG where buy orders are resting because we know it's done a daily breakout. Neo's already told us that. Yeah, we would be waiting for it to pull back into this to now look for a buy continuation. This is what we're looking for. Yeah. So, sorry, let's get rid of this. Boom. So we're looking for a move like this. Boom. And then we want it to create a W1, a low, or a W2 from here for it to obviously be able to buy up higher. This is what we want. But again, remember what I've said, because we don't know if we're still in a weekly pullback, this might not be a great trade for us. Okay, so let's just move it forward. Let's move this to a 4-hour interval. So it's just faster. Boom. You can see price action never pulled back into it. But hey, we were already in this buy setup. So price just decided to go with it. So the weekly sell pullback, which obviously we caught this sell here like the week before, yeah, it's obviously finished now. So it's trying to come out of this one. So for me, this wasn't a safe trade because the weekly chart, that is the time frame I like to use the most. Yeah, the weekly, and I'll go over that next bit after how I like to use it the most, but I'm just trying to explain this trading setup here. The weekly chart right here was not bullish. Remember the diagram I've shown you. So right now, imagine this is the diagram, okay? Again, I'm trying to make it so everybody can get this source, yeah? We're looking at a lower low on the monthly. Great, cool. Yeah, but then now the weekly chart is still doing this. I'm going to make it better for you in a second, yeah? This is obviously the move we're trying to catch, like a buy up like this, boom. Yeah, this is the 4 time frames you can see here. So this is one buy, this is another one, this is the second time frame. So this is the weekly, this is the daily. Okay, yeah, let's bring this back down. Boom. Let's bring this back down to here. And let's do this. And this is the 4 hour. Okay. But you see, the problem with me why I didn't want to take this trade is because this time frame, when the trade setup came up for the buy, yeah, this was still bearish. This part. Does that make sense to everyone? What I'm saying there? This part here was still bearish. It's not showing me that this was bullish. Regardless of it's trying to do the move, it was still bearish. Does that make sense, guys and girls? Let me know in the chat, please. This is why, regardless of GBP CAD buy-in or not, I wasn't interested in this buy trade setup because this was still bearish. And how you can tell that it's even funny what's going on here, yeah, at the moment, is that because of this, there was obviously a fundamental shift that just pushed price. Because why didn't they go back? Usually, which we've seen loads of times, if you're in the Neo VIP group, usually they'll go back and touch this FVG. Whether or not they go all the way down here and then buy up, regardless, they will at least go towards this FVG. I would say at least 7 out of 10 times they'll go to the FVG that they left behind here. This time they didn't. They just went for the buy straight away. And it's funny because you can tell it's a fundamental shift because the weekly chart is still bearish. So they didn't care about the weekly chart being bearish. They just slammed a bunch of buy orders in there to push it. Do you understand, guys and girls? They didn't even give us our entry the next day for the trade setup, which would have been the Tuesday. They didn't even give it to us. But I wasn't concerned because, again, the weekly is my center point. And if the weekly time frame is not about to fight, is not in its higher low or its lower high, if I'm buying or selling, I'm not concerned because I don't know if the weekly trend, structure trend, has finished. I don't know. So I'm not going to trade it because I'm like, okay, imagine I get caught on the wrong side of a weekly trend. And that's exactly what, not to be fair, it's not what happened with GU because GU was bearish. GU, they did again a fundamental shift like what you're seeing here. So, but if you get caught on the wrong side of a weekly trend, obviously you can get in a big trade full of big drawdown and you don't want that. Does that make sense to every single person? Again, I have to keep asking this so I'm not going too fast. I'm trying to be very, very clear with what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't want to be stuck in the wrong side of a weekly trend because that would just be burial. You understand? It's not good. You're going to hold mad drawdown for no reason. Yeah. Cool. So this is why I didn't take GBP CAD just because it's weekly. If this was a weekly bullish, I would have took that trade. Would have took this trade. And more than likely, I'm hoping they would have gone back to a 4 hour FEG. But just alone on that fact that it's weekly bullish, yeah, it would have said weekly bullish 1 bar. Yeah, I would have been like, okay, yeah, boom. This trade is basically setting that. Oh, it's done a daily breakout according to Neo on the daily chart. We can see it. The table says it. You can see it on Neo. It was weekly bullish 1 bar ago. From last week, it went bullish, and now they've done a daily breakout bullish. Clearly, they've got buy orders in this pair to continue for this week, or at least for the next day or two, or for the rest of the week. Do you understand? No problem, Soros. No problem. So this is exactly what it is. Do you understand? It's a very simple setup. It's not complicated, people. It's not complicated. Do you understand? It's only complicated if you try and do too much. If you break it down to its simplest formats, it's very simple. It's just high or lows being created throughout multiple time frames. And if you're using the time frames together properly, you'll be fine. And what I said is the best way to use it. Remember, even though I'm saying the weekly time frame is my center point, okay, if this is the 30-minute chart, because you've got 1 hour here, 30-minute here, 15-minute here, and a 5-minute chart here, then the 30-minute chart is your center point. Does that make sense? So if the 30-minute chart is not the same, yeah, is not in line with the trade setup that you're seeing in front of you, then don't trade it because it could still sell. Do you understand? Like, there's no need to rush because the chances, I'm not telling you Neo's going to make you win every trade, but the chances of you winning this trade is a lot higher if this is in the same trend, your midpoint. Yeah, it's a lot higher. Now, the next question, let's go to this sell trade on GBP CAD here. Okay. So this was a sell trade set up. The daily already told us that this was a sell on Neo. Okay, from this day. If I hopefully the daily is not lagging. Here, boom. It's lagging again. You just got to give it a second. Sorry about this, people. I believe it's because I'm quite far from my router. My router's in another room right now, so that's why. So let's just take this back to here. Boom. Okay, now let's take it back to here. All right, cool. What do we have here, guys and girls, now? Yeah? We have a daily breakout for the sell with GBP CAD once it moves forward. Hold on, give me a sec. Boom. Change this to 1 hour. Boom. See, GBP CAD has come up with the sell trade now because we got the breakout through the moving average and the massive engulfing candle. We can see it. So it's already telling us here. We don't have to stress. We can see this is why I gave out the signals. I'm literally giving out trades that I'm showing people live. There is no fake in this. I keep saying it. These are exact signals I gave out for the buy and the sell trade. It's all in the VIP signal chat area. I've said GU's looking for a sell this today, going into the market. So this day closed on Monday. So I said Tuesday, GU's looking for a sell, GBP CAD's looking for a sell. When we get our entries, we're going to enter. Why I've said for us to wait for the setups is because I've said that, hey, hold on a second, let's go here on the 4 hour. And this thing will load. Again, I apologize about the waiting for the loading. This doesn't happen every single time. I do know I am quite far from my router. Let's see. Yeah, I am quite far from my router. Just have to bear with me a second when it just loads. What am I waiting? I'm waiting for this to appear here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's switch on this table here. Switch on this one. Because this one's already loaded. See if it loads it. We'll see. Give it a second. See if I move it forward a bar, if it does. Okay, we've got to just wait. Let's go to this chart, because this chart was already here. Okay, let's go to this one and see if we change it to the 4 hour. It loads it quicker. Just give it a second. Yeah. It's just crazy how long this is taking to load. I don't know why it's doing this today. That's weird. But we'll get through it. Well, usually when it does this, I just go up. I go like this. I'll just go through a pair. Then eventually it'll pop up quickly. And then I'll just go back to it. So let's just go GBP CAD. Yeah, it loaded already. Boom. I'll just go to GBP CAD. The CMC markets as well has been added to TradingView, by the way. I haven't seen those charts. They might actually be better than a Wanda. So, you know, boom. Then let's just see what happens. It loads faster now. Come on, mate. Don't be silly. It's taking a sweet time. Something's here with GBP CAD. They don't want me to show you the money. They don't want me to show you the money. Let's just give it a moment, people, and it will come. It will pop up. Give it a moment. Has anyone got any questions while we're waiting for this to load? I'm about to explain something else. Boom. There you go. Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Apologies for the wait, people. But like I said, I think it's where my internet connection is. That's why it's doing that. Boom. I'll switch this one off. All right, cool. So we already know GBP CAD to set up. Yeah. But we can see here when I go forward, it should turn to daily. Yeah. Boom. See? So you can see this one was weekly bearish as well. 1 bar ago. Perfect for me. So that means last week, the market went weekly bearish. You understand? And now I'm looking for a sell trade continuation because Neo's told me the day trade has done a daily breakout for a sell. You might be asking, but John, the monthly chart is bullish. Well, remember, the market moves, even though I've shown you this pattern here from the monthly time frame to the weekly to the to the daily to the 4 hour, the market actually moves from the 1 second chart, people. Look. There's a 1 second chart, people. Do you understand? It moves from the 1 second chart all the way up to the monthly chart to create a massive move. Do you understand? So think of it this way. Now we're looking at this same as that table, but we're going backwards. Yeah. So we need to look at it backwards. So if the weekly's bearish, yeah, I can already see even the daily's gone bearish. Now I'm expecting that after it's done this sell continuation, obviously the monthly can only go bearish when the monthly candle's closed. The monthly candle has just opened about 8 days ago. So it's not going to go bearish until the monthly candle is obviously closed. That doesn't mean you can't take a trade. Do you understand? Because remember what I said, the market actually goes in reverse. It goes from the 1 second chart all the way up to the monthly. So it's already showing me that from the lowest time frames, this market's going bearish. Neo on the daily time frame has shown me it's going bearish as well, based on the daily breakout. I can see on this table with structure on the weekly time frame, it's gone bearish. So what am I going to do? I'm obviously going to make sense of this and say, hey, this is more than likely going to turn into a monthly bearish sell, because I would trade this anyway if I wasn't using the table like we've done before. But now I've got extra confluence to know the monthly chart is in my favor. So all I've told people is we want the daily chart to actually create a higher low, because we need the daily chart to pull back. It's been bearish for 4 days. So that means they can pull back the market. There is no specific number here, because people ask me that all the time, but what's the number where they're going to do this and do that? Yeah, there is no specific number. You don't have to wait for a specific number. Just wait for the table to do what it says. Do you get it? And now let's pay attention to this. So we're just going to fast forward this, yeah? Boom. Can you see? Now the daily chart has gone pulled back. So think of the pattern like this. Can you see the pattern? Yeah. Right now, we're monthly bullish, but we're weekly bearish. So we're in this move right now. We're in this part of structure. And Neo's told us there's a day trade for a sell in this part of structure. So what do we need it to do on the daily chart? We need the daily chart to pull back. That's what you just saw there. The table showing you. You don't have to do all this mad rocket science. I've coded it with the coding team and myself. I've coded it. So you don't have to do that madness. It's really showing you this. Now, we know it has to sell before it can buy again. So we're going to catch. Now Neo's telling you, hey, boom, it's already done this to do the daily breakout. We can see it here. Boom. Yeah. This is the weekly sell that's also created the daily breakout on the table. Okay. It's pulled back because it needs to pull back. Yes, it could have just sold all the way down. It could have just sold like this. Yes. But that's not really the best for us, because it makes it a bit sketchy. Because we don't know if it's going to do this, or we don't know. But we do know if structure's followed, it should do this on the daily. It should pull back first to create a daily lower high to now continue the sell before it wants to go back up, if it wants to go up or continue going down. Do you understand? So I've seen this straight away and I've said, hold on, the daily, wait for the daily. It's all in the VIP chat. No word of a lie. I've told everyone. Wait for the daily to go bullish. We're literally sitting on our hands, wait for the daily to go bullish. Then, when we see that the 4-hour chart now creates a lower high, we're going to enter our trade, because that's telling us exactly what we look for already with our strategy. We wait for price to pull back to the FVG and create, obviously, this is a sell trade. We're going to be waiting for it once it goes back to this FVG. Remember, everything's already done on the daily chart for us. We can already see the weekly's bearish. Now we're just waiting for an entry on the 4-hour chart. No complication, people. The only thing is this table is showing you an assistance. It's giving you an extra guide to tell you you're following through a weekly trend. Yeah? You're following through a center point. Even if you, again, change that to the 1 hour, the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the 5-minute, that 30-minute time frame would be red right now, let's just say. But obviously, I swing day trade to swing trade, so it's the weekly. I want to wait for price to come back to a fair value gap, because that's price going back to a fair price point. You want it to go back there, so price is cheaper for the banks to sell. They're not going to sell when it doesn't make sense. So now we can see price has not created an M1, an M2, or a high entry. So all we're doing is boom. As soon as this says a high entry, this is going to give you an indication, yeah? Or if it says, yeah, if it says a high entry, this is going to also change the 4 hour to a lower high. Look, boom. Can you see? So as soon as this happened, I even got us in more sniper than this, but as soon as this happens, you're in your trade from here. You're in your trade right from there. Because now you're catching the probability of the daily lower high. This, remember, this is the monthly chart. This is the weekly. This is the weekly going down. This is the daily pulling back. And this is the daily about to sell again. You're catching this. This is where we are in the pattern. You're catching this now. But you're catching this from a minute 4 hour entry from up here, rather than waiting for the whole daily chart to go bearish and do the whole move. Do you understand? You're catching the 4 hour entry from here, the lower drawdown entry, basically, rather than trying to sell it from when the whole daily candle closes. And this is what this is helping you with here, because we've seen the pullback. If the pullback's happened, cool. What's the next thing we're looking for? We're looking for remember, it goes backwards. The 1 second chart would have started to create a sell. And let's just say the 1 minute chart would have started to create a sell. The 5 minute would have started to create a sell. The 30 minute, the 15 minute, so on. Do you understand? The 4 hours now got to the point where it's starting to sell. And if the 4 hours starting to sell, the next thing that can happen is the daily chart can sell and create a lower high. This move right here. So this is why the table looks different here. It doesn't all look red or all look green, because I know the weekly is selling. Neo has given me a daily breakout order. It's given it to me. The daily has pulled back. So they've done their liquidity run as far as this is showing me. Yeah. And now I'm waiting for my 4 hour entry lower high to catch a daily lower high. And what do? I enter here. So again, if you did this, boom, short, you enter here, boom, you put your stop loss just above here, either above here or there's even another FEG here, which is great, but we put it above here. This is a simple one right here. Cool, because we've already gone into an FEG and this was the first M1 high or M2 entry. No different from the rules that I've always told you to trade the day trading strategy. The only difference is you can now see if structure through multiple time frames is also going to help your Neo day trade, which I've made at least 5 to 6 to 7 1 hour long videos showing you how to use the daily and the 4 hour chart with Neo. You will never be confused, people, because there's loads of hours of content there to show you how to do it. I'm giving you the assistance of a multi-time frame structure tool. So from here, boom, we can see that if we just take it down to this liquidity here, low here, this is a 2R trade. You don't need much more to make 1% in a week, 2%, 3%, or 10% or whatever. And then boom, remember you're entered here because you've seen the close of this candle. And this could possibly be the daily lower high forming. What do? Boom, TP has been smashed with flying colors in 3-4 hour candles. It even went free risk to reward. This is how you don't need a table to be in line, because you need to understand where you are in the pattern. This is showing you where you are in the pattern. If a daily breakout order has happened on Neo and you can see this table, your main concern first and foremost is the weekly time frame. If the weekly is not in the same direction as that daily breakout, I would say it's better to hold fire. That's my idea of it. On how I'm going to only really go on from here how I trade, rather than trying to say this is how you scalp with it, this is this. I'd rather do a different video on that. But even though I've given examples in here, how I trade and how I've been successful and how I've given signals that have been profitable before, middle, and after for anyone that's in the VIP group and anyone that's had lifetime access in MT4 version of Neo before. I'm giving all my signals out to them as well, them guys and girls there, because they paid for lifetime access before as like, you know, as a token for them, basically. Yeah. It's right here. It's told me where I am in the pattern and what can possibly happen. And this trade here made on a 400K account made me $6,000. I entered it with, what did I enter it with? I think I entered it with 4.0 and it made $6,000 this trade. Do you understand? So far what I've said to you guys and girls with this a bit more complex version of reading this table Does that make sense to traders in here? Does it make sense to them? If it don't make sense to people, or they're confused if they watch this video back, draw this diagram. A low, just draw it like this, an M or a W. So draw this, and the second part of the W, that's your weekly, that's your monthly lower low or higher high. Then now you can pinpoint which parts you're at. So maybe this diagram will look better to a trader. Do you understand? This will look better. So you can see, oh, so I'm here in the pattern. So if I'm here in the pattern, oh yeah, the daily needs to pull back first. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I want to catch this bit, to catch this sell. That's literally what we caught. We caught this sell here, literally there. Boom. Literally. Because after that sell had occurred, what happened next? Look, guys and girls, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Look. Can you not see it's the pattern? The pattern moving? You don't see it's the exact pattern. Like, just look at it like this right now, here, up to this point here, where the high formed. Is it not this exact pattern that I just shown you here? Literally, look at the market. Can you see? At least we know where we are in the time frame structure pattern. It literally pulled back. You see it. It literally did what I explained to you in this diagram. Draw the diagram. Use a W to start, and the last part of the W or the M is going to be your monthly lower low or higher high. Do you understand? And then the next part is going to be your weekly, and then it's going to be your daily, and then your 4 hour. Do you understand? Literally just use that. Remember, there's 4 parts to this. There should be, whoops, sorry. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your 4 time frames. And you can literally just do this beside you before you take a trade. Be like, just draw this if it helps you. Do you understand? Until you get used to it. So you're not confused. It's literally showing you. So this is your monthly time frame in the buy. You can see this is your weekly time frame in the possible sell. Do you understand? And then so on. Obviously, as you can see, it was moving before with the price and going like that. So this is what will help you. So this is your monthly, this is your weekly, this is your daily, and this is your 4 hour. So you know, so when you get a breakout order on Neo, you're like, okay, yeah, boom. Once you understand this and you're tired of drawing this diagram because you don't need to anymore, then take it away. I don't need to do it because I've got enough experience to just understand it. That's how I'm able to teach it to you. Do you understand? But once you're okay with that, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, boom. It did exactly what this pattern did right here. And if I do the same thing again, let's invert the chart. It did the exact same thing. Look, people, if I'm lying, I'm flying. It did the exact same thing. Do you get it? The exact same thing. It just went down. Literally. Boom. That is it, people. It's the exact same strategy as before, but the only difference is now we can see where we are in the market. So what happens is that you're going to sometimes get very good setup. So let's go Euro. I believe it's Euro USD. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. Right up. What you doing? What you doing, mate? What you doing? Moving funky, mate. Stop moving funky. Yeah. This is when in March, Euro USD broke out and it did a mad like 700 pip buy and I gave us an entry from like here. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, an entry from like here. Okay. Boom. Right, let's look here. So on the daily chart, when this Monday closed, it had 2 columns on the daily chart on the FEG breakout table telling you can look for a buy trade. Let's just move this forward because it was Tuesday when it started. Where's Tuesday start from? Tuesday starts from here, the next one. Boom. Yeah. So this one here, was it this one? Let me go here. Yeah, boom. So it wasn't Euro USD that gave the mad setup for it. It was actually, I think it was EuroCAD. I'm just trying to see. Hold on. Trying to remember the pairs. Yeah. This one you can see was still weekly bearish. If you go to the weekly chart, you'll just see already. When it did, this is what happens sometimes. This is a new shift. Can you see? So the monthly had already told you that price is holding a buy. The only thing is we was in a 2-week sell pullback. So by the 3rd week, it did the reversal. Sometimes it don't do that. That's why I like to wait for it. But when that does happen, what have I said to you multiple times? Look at the size of that candle compared to the sell candles or even the other buy candles. It's a new shift. You can't beat yourself up on that because if you go to the daily chart in that same mad week, this is when the daily chart crossed over the moving average. You'll see it here, boom, in that same week. You get it? In that same exact week, people. Yeah? So you can't beat yourself up over that. Sometimes that's going to happen. I'm not saying you can't take the trade, but if you was to lose the trade because you can see the weekly's not in trend, you don't have to beat yourself up. You're going to be like, well, I know exactly why this kept selling because the weekly chart is bearish. Does that make sense again to everyone in here? Yeah? Does that make sense? If you want to let the trade go, does that make sense to you? That, hey, I might not want to stay in this trade because, well, clearly I tried it. Basically, I'm waiting on a news shift. But if news is not in your favor, then it might not have done what that big buy was. It could have sold again for another week. Do you understand? So this is what happens sometimes. Now, when we go into, I think it was Euro CAD, bear with me, it was one of the Euros. Obviously, I'm trying to go over trades that where all of this was green or all of this was red. Yeah, would have been here. Yeah, I think this one. There we go. So you can see Euro CAD. When I gave the Euro CAD signal, this one was before Euro USD. It was the week before, and then we had Euro USD the next week. Yeah, and you can see that I still traded those pairs just based on the day trading strategy. I've told you guys and girls in many videos, but we would have got our buy trade here on this Monday, the 24th. And we would have been looking for a Tuesday entry, which obviously you can see here it bought. So let's just do this so I can remember what that is. We go to the 4 hour, boom. Yeah. Okay, look at the table now. So we're going to just bring this back to here, boom. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to just try and get over into the Tuesday. There, boom. So you can see here, so yeah, this is the Monday close. Boom. We can already see in that daily breakout. So this is when the table comes in line. Look, people. Boom. We can see that the monthly is still bullish, even though it's 3 bars ago. It's still bullish. Yeah, still bullish. The weekly is still bullish, even though it's 3 bars ago. It's still at least it's giving us a day trading buy strategy, but the weekly is still bullish. Remember that. The daily has just turned bullish, meaning the daily, remember the pattern, the daily has just created its higher low. So if this is going to continue because, hey, we should be able to get into a trade, we just have to wait for now. We don't have to wait for the daily. Because it's 1 bar ago, we don't have to wait for the daily to pull back again. Why? It's just done it. So we don't have to wait for the daily to pull back. We just got to wait for the 4 hour to pull back now because we're just looking to continue this buy that clearly it's told us to look for. So pay attention here. Boom. Boom. So it did pull back here. Sometimes this happens on the indicator. Sorry for this, people, but it's reading the market. And you can see it's because it created a weird doji candle. This is why this happened. Look here. I always tell people when it creates these nobody candles, it won't come up with a label. There's nothing I can do about that. So if I was to change this to maybe CMC market, this might come up with something here. It might say M1. I'll check that after anyway. We'll see after. But this here, it's a bearish candle, so it pulled back. It definitely created an M1 or M2. So this was the pullback. So it would have changed this to red. You can see that. But when it creates this, there's no way it would have had these 2 bearish candles or created this low again after creating a W1. It can't create this without this being a pullback. This is like a brokerage error. It's a brokerage to TradingView. And then obviously Neo can only read the data it gets from TradingView. It can't create data that TradingView is not giving it. Do you understand? But there you go. That was the entry right here. It said low. It's impossible for it to move to a low if there wasn't a bearish setup before, is what I'm trying to tell you. So even if you missed this, you could have asked in the VIP chat. I would have been able to tell you. 2, I already gave everybody the indication anyway because they're VIP members. And 3, it's right there. Like I said, it can't skip from a buy label to a buy label. There had to have been. It always goes sell label, buy label, sell label, or it will always go buy label, sell label, buy label, always. So if you see 2 buy labels together and no sell label, there was obviously some type of glitch, which I've mentioned many times. Yeah. Cool. But you can see right here, you had the low entry. And look at this chart now. Look at this table. Can you see how everything's bullish? Okay, cool. Let's do this. Boom. Look at the move it done now. Can you see the difference? So you've had a day trading setup. You've seen the table looks like, hey, this is going for the fire. This could do a 200 pip buy. This could do something wild here. Something so wild. Yeah. And what did we get? We got like 100, at least 100 pip buy anyway in this trade from here. Do you understand? We got 100 pip buy, and that was all within, I think, 1 day. Yeah. This would have been like 1 to 2 days max. Was it 1 day? Yeah, it was 1 day. We got 100 pip buy. Do you get it? So you're going to get a better trade if they all line up. But then you can still get a trade set up if just the weekly chart is starting to move and we've got a day trading entry, is what I'm trying to tell you. Because now the market could be shifting into a bigger move as it goes on. If it's not already started from a nice clean setup like you saw here on all of these being green, yeah, you could still get a day trading setup. Because remember, a 50 to 100 pip trade is still a day trade. It's not even a scalp. Scalps are like 10 pips, 20 pips. You could still see it. Do you get my point, people? This is what the table's doing for you. I don't expect you to understand it in 1 day, but you can always rewatch this video and you can start to learn and get it better. And then on top of that, once you're in the VIP chat, I'm never a person that just leaves you alone. I'm always going to be talking about, look, can you see us doing it again? We're going to take trades where I'm showing you the example of, look, this is what I explained in the Zoom call. You're not going to be left alone. So you don't have to think, I don't get it. I don't know. You don't need to understand it in 1 day. This is something that's taken me years to learn these things. Like to learn this multi-structure, I learned over like at least a year of trading. It was like 2023 is when I learned how to do multi-time frame structural connections and all of that. Do you understand? This is why I was able to turn it into an indicator. But hopefully the indicator should make it easier for you if you just follow the process of it. So what you're looking for is anytime there's a day trading setup, you want the weekly chart to at least be in the same trend as that day trading setup. And you want it to be 1 bar ago, and it could be 2 bars ago. We can discuss that whenever a trade appears, but it's always better when it's at least 1 bar ago, because you know that weekly trend, whether it's bullish or bearish, is new. So if this breakout's happened, we could be seeing the second bar of the continuation of that weekly trend, that if you're lucky can turn into a monthly trend if you held it for 2 weeks, even the trade. Do you understand? We're waiting, once that weekly breakouts happen, we're waiting for the daily to pull back because you never want to buy a high and sell low. That's why you wait for the daily to pull back as well. And then when the 4 hour starts to show you that price is weakening, this is telling you, hey, this could be an entry for your 4 hour entry. Boom. 9 out of 10 times that 4 hour that pullback, the 4 hour pullback you're waiting on, is more than likely going to be the FVG retest. You see it just like this one here, the 4 hour pullback, FVG retest, low entry, continuation. I would say let's make it for at least 7 to 8 out of 10 times. That's what's going to happen. It's just going to appear like that, people. Yeah. Has anyone got any questions on what I've said throughout this Zoom or any other ones? Or I'm not sure about this, John. Can you please give me a heads up? Anything at all? Just let me know, please. So this was a lengthy Zoom, but hopefully it makes sense to everyone. Like I said, it's going to be uploaded on YouTube anyway. I know some people won't watch it, but hey, this is going to give people a lot of knowledge. If they don't watch it, it's up to them. It is up to them. Anybody else in here? Anybody else? That's no problem, Nick. Like I said. And that's what you can see. Obviously, it's a bit of an explanation, so that's why I couldn't do the Zoom straight away. It's like, okay, I need some time to sit down, and I even wanted to think of how to explain it to you guys and girls as well to make it as easy as possible. Because this is what I told somebody in the direct message. They asked me to break it down a bit more for them, and I was like, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't show you how to trade multi-time frame structure in direct message. You need to. This is something that takes time to learn, or at least I do a Zoom call and it helps. So yeah, all you got to do is just not delete it. Don't delete it. Just take it off your chart, the FEG breakout indicator, and then go to your obviously your invite only scripts, and then re-add it, and then you should have this update with the table. So don't delete it from your invite only. All you have to do is just remove it from your chart and then add it again from your invite only. But this is what it is. Trust me, once you might, because this is golden. You need, because you can trade this alone. You could trade this without everything else, just this table. I'm not even going to lie to you. Literally, if you actually become a master at it, you can trade it because it's literally showing you, hey, this could be the higher low that's forming or the lower high you're looking for. It. This is where we always want to enter. We always want to enter a buy from a higher low and a sell from a lower high. We don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to enter it from anywhere else. Helped me with spotting the structure on natural gas. I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did, Andy. It allows me to update the chart. It gives me, yeah, it should usually give you a purple circle, people tell. But obviously, because I'm the one doing the updates, it's not going to give me the purple circle, so I've never seen it. But if you're the person receiving it, even someone else told me they got an email. They got an email from my trading view profile to tell them to update it. Do you understand? So yeah, that's it, people. Yeah. So yeah, you can apparently when I update anything on Neo, you can just a purple circle should appear by the indicator name, and you can press that, and it should update it for you. So the next two updates I'm trying to do is the rejection lines. I'm looking at that, but it's some things I want to pay more attention to. 'Cause I'm not getting all of them perfect right now. So it's the rejection lines, or I want to do something with the COT data, which shows us all the information when banks are processing orders. So when banks process orders, they should COT data is usually released on a Tuesday. The orders are placed on a Tuesday, but we don't see the data till a Friday. But if we can actually, I was doing that again in 2023, going into 2024, if anyone remembers. I know Nyla will remember, and Book as well, because they were really talking to me about it. The COT data actually shows you when there's orders that are taken off a pair and put onto a pair. So that as well can actually help you, because if you see orders were taken off a pair, like let's say here, what would have happened here with this buy, sell orders from this Monday open, you would be able to see that, oh, from Monday, sell orders were taken away from Euro CAD. So maybe from the Euro. So, and now we've got a day trade entry. Well, obviously buy orders have been added. So that's giving you a fundamental, not technical. It's giving you a fundamental analysis of telling you what institutions are doing, because institutions usually play on the big movements in the market. So you understand, and that's how that would have looked. So that would have given you a higher introduction to tell you that, hey, you know what, this pair could buy because we've got a day trade, structures right, fundamental COT data is telling us sells have been released and buys have been added from the Monday open of the week. You get it? Yeah. So I'm looking between those two. I was kind of playing around with that in it. So just bear with me, because if we can get that as well, like everything I'm trying to do is just to tell us, hey, this is like a 90% trade. Take it. That's what I'm trying to get Neo to. And between all of the if buts and maybes, obviously we're getting winners, but it's still going to be some hiccups here and there. There's nothing wrong with that, because you're going to have hiccups even if you've got a perfect strategy anyway. But I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible for everyone. Do you understand? Yeah. But structure alone, there is no perfect like formula for it. And this is what people don't understand, because fundamentals, again, like I showed you with Euro USD, it can just reverse it. So I can't make it in a way where it's like, oh, but it just says one thing and that's perfect for you. No, and you're not always going to get every single time. It might only happen once every 3 months where everything on here says 1 1 1 1 1 bar ago. You're not going to get that every single time. It's not going to happen like that, people, because the market just don't move like that. It don't just move in a perfect structure shift every day. It can move like nice, and then something could take it the wrong way. Then something will reverse it back the other way. It's exactly what happened with GU. Structure was telling us is weakening from a daily to a weekly perspective, but then the monthly held weight and they reversed it all the way back up for the buy. And let's just go over to GBP USD last, just so people can see exactly what I'm talking about. So GCAD we tried to sell and it worked. GBP USD obviously just did a paganistic move and they didn't care. They said, forget your structure, boy. That's what they said. So what structure who? That's what they said. Boom. So you can see here from GBP USD, we had this massive sell here, and this was a daily breakout. So the table and the daily would have told you, just like I showed you in the Zoom call. And obviously we were looking for the continuation of the sell, which was here, basically. You know? So we did manage to catch this sell trade entry. It was a Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, so we did manage to, but it was the same exact thing. If I can get it from here, I was looking for this sell pullback. So you can see this is a nice lower high that did form here, but unfortunately, this was during the previous week. No, this is why it didn't sell, I think. And we did pinpoint this. It did the sell on Monday. I hate when they do this sometimes, people. Because in theory, let's go to the daily quickly. Yeah, this did it. Sorry. Boom. So yeah, they did the daily break on the Monday, but that was a sell. This was the sell that we needed at this point. But they did a massive impulsive move to slip the market. This is why they left this wick here on the daily and this space. Yeah. So now we go back to the 4 hour. And obviously we need to wait for the pullback after this because price action, we're going to go here. Yeah. Price action is weekly bearish. You see? So look how it's looking nice. It's going back to front. It's looking nice for sell continuations. Boom. So I said, okay, we got to wait for the daily to pull back now. The daily pulled back. You got your lower high here on the Tuesday. So what's the Tuesday here? Yeah, it was the Tuesday, wasn't it? Yeah, boom. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, no. So yeah, the Monday close. So I said on the Tuesday, you need to wait for the pullback. Wait for the, because remember, it did the move on the Monday to break the moving average. Yeah. So I said on the Tuesday, you need to wait for the pullback. So we need it to close bullish on the Tuesday. Boom. Let's wait for the Wednesday. Boom. Okay. So the Tuesday, it closed bullish. This is why it's like this. What we're going to wait for, we're going to try and catch. Remember the pattern, people. Everything I've said here is a learning thing. Remember the pattern. If we're looking for sells, we want the monthly to have been bearish, but we know it's not bearish yet because obviously we're in this move. We're actually still in this move. But the weekly is showing us, yeah, boom, in this actual move here, I'm going to show you what it's looking like. So we're still in this possible monthly sell here. This is what this massive sell is here. We're possibly in this leg. But from a smaller time frame purpose, the weekly has now done this. Boom. It's pulled back and it's given us this at least. As far as we can see, it's done this, yeah? So the weekly's bearish, yeah? Now we're looking at the daily chart to pull back again. And then what? We want to catch this daily lower high to catch the sell continuation. That's what this was here, basically. We had to wait for the Tuesday pullback to catch the 4 hour lower high entry here, which can turn into a daily bearish sell. But what happened? Fundamentals came in on the Wednesday and boom, they shifted it the other way. You see? So we were in profit. Nothing wrong with that because look, even if you entered here, people, it's not like it was crap. Neo still helped you. This was let's say a 40 pip stop loss for a 70 pip trade. So that was like a 1 to 1.7 trade. Wasn't crap. You can still eat off of that. If every single trade was doing that, giving you a 1 to 1.5 every single time, what I just showed you happen on the table here, you're still profitable, very profitable trader. But then news came in, and when news came in, what did it do? It now decided to go and break this lower high. So it never held the daily lower high. And then from there, it was just a wrap. So we're holding this trade. And yeah, obviously, as you can see, it just went crazy. So we had to close out as it went here because now look at the table. The table's like, nope, 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 nope. We're holding this. And what it did, look, it held the daily bar for 14 bars. It was just holding it, holding it, holding it. Look, hasn't still gone bearish on the daily yet from that buy. Can you see? This is a fundamental shift. There's nothing you can do about that. Still daily bullish. Still daily bullish. 30 bars ago. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do about this, people. Do you get it? That is a fundamental shift. So sometimes you're just going to lose trades like this. But what I've told people is that if it pretty much breaks the high of the daily lower high you think it can form, that's pretty much telling you from there, you know what? It's probably better to just call this trade quits. Regardless if it does this and then now comes back down, just call it quits because if you trade 10 of these trades, literally 7 out of 10 of them shouldn't do that, is what I'm trying to tell you. Some are going to do this and you can't control that. That's just a fundamental shift. Okay? So with everything I've said there, is that very clear for everyone? I don't want to make it too long. It's like an hour and a half Zoom already, at least an hour and 20 minutes. So I don't want to make it too crazy. Yeah? But you can see the table literally told us, let go of GU because it never held the 4 hour lower high, which could be a daily lower highs. Now we're trying to guess we're trying to guess where they're going to form the daily lower high for us to sell it. That's when we should have let go of it. And that way I wouldn't have lost as much money. And what else? So now I know as my strategy when I'm in a trade, if it goes into profit like this, that's great. But if it starts to do this, one of the pairs, if I enter two in a week, I know that, hey, you know what? Maybe you want to hold this for just a little bit longer, but at some point let it go because now you're trying to guess where the daily lower high is going to form for the continuation of this trade or the daily high or low, and then you might not get it. So that would have been your cutout and you would have lost a lot less money and we just move on to the next. Simple. Yeah? All right, people. So there's a lot for you to unpack and watch back and take notes on. I'm going to leave it there for now. So everybody can digest it because obviously it's a lot of information, like I said. If anybody wants to get Neo or anything like that, just hit me up, message me. If you want to pass it on to any of your friends or family, hit me up and message me. Like I said, we win, we lose, but we always win together or lose together. And yeah, obviously we're winning more than we're losing, regardless of what loss I took. Definitely not every single person has to take that because I'm not telling everyone to take the percentage of risk I take or the least amount of risk I take or the more risk I take in a trade. I actually entered another position in GU as well, trying to see that, okay, if it at least pushes down to here, I can close that one with less of a loss and make some money off this trade. But yeah, it just obviously, as you can see, it didn't work. And you can't beat yourself up about it, people. You just have to move on from it. It's not the end of the world. Can't cry about it. You win, you lose. Simple. All right, cool, people. I'm going to leave it there anyway. Yeah, no worries. Happy Easter, everyone. And yeah, let me know if there's anything. Just hit me up in the group chat. I'm going to be pretty busy for the rest of today, but yeah, I'll obviously be looking at the markets from tomorrow and we'll see what goes on. Yeah. All right, everybody, take care. Have a lovely day. I shall see you later. Easy.